let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. And every day I affirm and pray that I'm blessed with everything I have. I release my fear, 'cause it's all so clear. I am held, I am loved, I am safe, I am safe. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. And now I see what my life can be when I trust in the process and have faith. And now I know when I just let go that I have all that I ever need. All I ever need. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well.
Good morning. I'm not sure how close I need to stand to the microphone yet, but I'm Sherri Humes, and I'm your platform assistant for today. And I want to say hello to everybody. It's so good to see, hello, your smiling faces. So, kind of see your smiling faces, but you know what I mean. So anyway, let's gather. I'm going to read for you the lighting of the Christ candle. So if you want to center yourselves while I do this for us. It was, in the beginning was the One, the presence of the undivided and unmanifest pure spirit of life, light and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us, the creative energy of the divine feminine and masculine expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this in our companion, Mother Earth, in all sentient beings, this universal presence in everything we call the Christ. We light this candle as a visible reminder of the Christ presence expressing in, as, and through us in the present, now moment. It is the truth. Let us own it.
Good morning. We'll be opening this morning's service with a song called This Is My Thanksgiving Day, and I believe you might have lyrics for it. So read along, sing along if you want. Whoops. If I hear the ocean roar, if I see the eagles soar, if I sense what flowers say, then this is my Thanksgiving Day. If I catch a raindrop's kiss, if I feel the sunset's bliss, if I blend with nature's way, then this is my Thanksgiving Day. If I hear you talk to me, if I see what you can be, if I love you on your way, then this is my Thanksgiving Day. Every day is time to give. Every day is time to live. Every day is time to say that this is my Thanksgiving Day. This is my Thanksgiving Day. This is my Thanksgiving Day.
The Spiritual Center. We are a spiritual community dedicated to co-creating joyful lives through positive thoughts, words, and actions. Today, we have the Four Calling Birds as our musical ministry team, and thank you very much. If you're here for the first time, if you're a guest here for the first time, please raise your hand. We want to know that whoever you are, thank you. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're always welcome here. So we thank you so very much for joining us today. Let's see. We are going to go into our time of greeting. And so you can stand, you can wave, you can blow kisses. We're just not hugging and shaking hands yet. So let's, let's do that if you want. So hello to everybody. So go ahead and take a nice, just cleansing breath. We're going to center and say our 5 principles together. So the 5 principles of unity. God is good and present in all things. The holiness of God is my true nature. I am creating my experiences by how I think. My thinking is guided by my daily affirmative prayers and affirmative actions. I follow and am sustained by these values in every way, every day, and so it is. Now as we prepare for our time of reflection and meditation, please hold the words of this meditation hymn quietly in your heart.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy.
thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
I invite you into this time of relaxation and meditation. Take a moment to settle yourself comfortably in your chair. Begin to focus on breathing slowly and deeply. Let your thoughts go. Feel your breath nourish your body as you breathe slowly and deeply. As we meditate together this morning, choose to feel the love around you. Choose to feel the love you are. Here and now, feel the love we are. As individuals, we have the gift of choice. The thoughts we think, the emotions we feel, that is truly one of the many gifts of life. Return to your breath. Breathe slowly, deeply. Silently to yourself, affirm these ideas. I am. I am grateful. I am powerful. I am a powerful creator. I am creative. I am aligned with the creative power of the universe. changing my thoughts, and my abundance is expanding. I am aware and excited. My thoughts and feelings are transformative. Return to your breath. Breathe slowly, deeply. In the coming silence, continue to strengthen your beliefs. Feel your power to choose. Take a few moments and just think, I am, I am, I am. As we return from this time of meditation, remember how it felt to choose thoughts that are creative, powerful, loving, and expansive. As you go forward in this day, this week, choose to believe you are creative, powerful, loving, and always transforming. And so it is. Amen.
Give thanks for every day. Give thanks, all thanks, and wait the morrow at dawn or close of day. Let each in his own way give thanks for every blessing. Each river, tree, and flower, each breeze and shower, whisper, we thank thee, Creator of us all. Let each one, great and small,
those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Frank. And just thinking, years ago when I first came to Unity, I don't think I ever had that chance to sit in meditation with a group of people before. And that was really beautiful. Thank you so much. And so nice to sink in together with other people. We meditate on our own, but there's this sense when we get together and meditate as a community, wow, doesn't it just amp it up? Quakers had the right idea, That's what they do, just be together. So that's really beautiful. Good to see you all. I'm feeling really humbled. There's so much that's happened good in our life recently. And the thought and sort of the theme for November that we had was harvesting our good. And it's that November time and we're moving into Thanksgiving, which is coming up this week. And so there's that sense of what do we harvest and what do we bring in for our good? And it seems so simple, right? And so the title of my talk, I thought, you go to the trees, you harvest and you put it in the basket. Harvest the fruit, put it in the basket. So easy. You just go grab it, you put it in the basket. It's there. It's all there for us, just waiting to be harvested. It's a metaphor, of course, if we really do harvest fruit, or you go out with your wheelbarrow and grab your pumpkins, whatever it is. But the metaphor here is that there's so much good and there's so much that's available to us. There's just so much that's just there for our taking. We just go and we say we're in the flow of this beautiful creative process of the divine flowing in the world, and it's all there for us. We just go get it, right? And then we don't. Why don't we? It's just this abundance of goodness, and the thing, this power and this transformational energy is just there for us. And sometimes we take it and sometimes we don't. Why? What trips us up? And what can we do about it? So there's a story I want to tell you, and this particular story comes from the Gospel of John. We'll go back to the Gospels again, the good news, if you will. And this particular story comes from John chapter 5, and you can read it later if you'd like. And it goes like this. So after those events, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, near the sheep gate, there's a pool, and it's surrounded by 5 columns. And all around these columns were people who were sick, blind, invalids, and paralyzed. They were waiting for the water to ripple so they could get in. Now, you need to remember that at times a messenger of God would descend right into the pool of the waters and would ripple the water. And then the first person who could get into the water would be healed. And Jesus came and he saw one particular person who'd been there, he recognized, for a long time. He'd been there 38 years. And so Jesus looks at the man and he says, "Would you like to be made well?" And the man responds, "Well, you see, every time the water ripples, I can't get there. I try to get there, but somebody beats me to it and gets in the water, and so I can't be healed." This is in the story. So Jesus says, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." And so the man gets up and he picked up his mat and he walked away. That's the story. I'm glad you laughed. It is really funny when you think about it, right? This is the point of the story. And you guys, you can unpack this story for hours. It's so rich. Diane and I tried it. We played with this story for a long time. And you can just go in so many different directions. But I want to pull out one particular thing I see in this story that I think goes along with this theme of why don't we just go and pick the fruit and take it? I mean, look at this guy and think about it. Well, I'm getting ahead of me. So metaphysically, Jesus says he went up to Jerusalem. Now, when you hear in the stories in Scripture where Jesus went, you got to think, and true, you could think of the human being at the time, Jesus, or Jesus who represented the Christ. We call it the Jesus Christ energy. Historically, or in these stories, is this person who does something. But you can also think in terms of, when you read this is the Christ energy of me. Okay, what is going on in me and that very sacred essence of my true self, my full self, my Christ self, if you will. my holy self, my sacred self, my divine self, my transformative self, that real self that we're called to live from as our primary self of expression in the world. What do? We go up to Jerusalem. And when you hear we go up, it means this is a place of high consciousness. This is that place where the story tells you we're going to talk about things in the highest levels of consciousness. Be aware, we want to raise consciousness here, and you're probably going to see something that's sort of low consciousness because Jesus is going to come in and say, hey, here's another way of thinking about it. And you can see in other stories that Jesus went into the garden, or Jesus went into the plain, or Jesus went into the field, or Jesus went in the boat. And those are all clues to, well, what kind of level of thinking are we here? What is going to come to follow? But this particular story, Jesus goes up to Jerusalem, the city of peace, is a city of transformation, and we're going to go up in consciousness. So it's like, pay attention. This is a pathway to really transform our lives, and we're going to get up into this higher level. And what happens? So it doesn't say much about what Jesus does or anything. It just paints a picture of a story. I'm so glad you laughed, because I find this story amazing too. He goes in, there's a pool, and we don't necessarily know what that pool was for. It could have been ritual bathing before people went into the temple, or it could have just been a relaxing pool. We're not really sure. And by the way, archaeologists actually have found pools like this. It's tangent here, but it's kind of interesting that not only is this, a beautiful story, a metaphorical story, and a parable, if you will, but it actually based on a real way that things happened in Jerusalem at the time. And he goes in and he sees 5 porticos, and you hear 5 porticos or 5 columns, and what you're thinking is senses. So here's a place of a pool, and everybody there is caught up in sense consciousness. That the only real reality is what you can see, taste, hear, and touch. That's the consciousness they're in. There's a sense where we're not really paying attention to this full other level of life that we, our emotional level and our intelligence level and our spiritual truth of ourselves. The people there are sort of missing that. They're caught up in their story of what's happening in their world at that point. And so it says all these people are blind, meaning, they're not seeing it, Lame, they're not walking it, or paralyzed. It's just like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck somewhere in my life, and I just can't get there. And so Jesus asked the guy, he sees this one person, he recognizes he's been there a long time. Now, I don't know, it says there's all sorts of people. I don't know why Jesus saw this person and picked this one out. But he finds one person who's really stuck. And he says, do you want to be made well? There's 2 answers that are good to that question. Yes or no. Right? It's a yes or no question. Would you like to be made well? And the guy says, oh, this is just rich. He says, well, you see the water ripples, and I can't get there because someone else gets there first, and where I want to go, and someone else. But you see, that guy comes, and I want to go. That guy was going to help me, but he could help me because that guy was helping. So I started to get down there. That guy jumped in ahead of me and knocked me out, and then I couldn't do it. You guys don't do that, right? Of course, we all do that, right? Well, I won't project on you. I know I can find myself getting into story sometimes. And instead of accepting the fruit, put it in the basket, it's like, there's a fruit. Well, I can't really get it. My basket's not really strong enough. And if I get the fruit, I might hurt my back. And I can't even, there's all these reasons we don't do and we don't accept the gifts that are just flowing into our lives and the possibilities for transformation. And any story, anything that comes into our life is there. It's not there in order to teach you a lesson. It's there because that's how life is, and we can choose to take a lesson from that. We can choose, whatever the situation, to look at the reality of the situation and say, how do I use this for my good, for my transformation? How can I just say to the answer to the question, do you want to be made well? Sure. Yes. I think I will. I'll accept that. Let's go for the good. Let's go for the transformation. Let's go for yes. I would like to be made well. So it's interesting that when Jesus looks at this guy and he starts doing this, I'm a victim, I can't do it, look at me, everything's going wrong, and no one will help me, and I can't get in the pool, and I've been here 38 years, and what's the point kind of attitude, right? And instead of like going, dude, you're driving everybody crazy with the storytelling, he does this amazing thing. He just accepts the person and is kind. He accepts the person. It's what this what Carl Rogers, the great psychologist, would say, unconditional positive regard. He just looks at the person, he says, I'm just going to look past all that. I'm just going to love you. I'm just going to look past all your story, and I'm sure you're telling everyone else around here the story, you're driving everyone crazy with it, or maybe you're all telling the same story. And despite all that, I'm going to be kind to you. And no matter what's going on with all this thing, Jesus just says, here's the solution. Here's how I stay in my level of higher consciousness, is that I'm just going to be kind. And what I can do to you is I can invite you forward into your wellness. You can't see it, but I can see it. From the Christ aspect, we can see it. From the Christ aspect, when we even see, and I'm saying we see others, but you're looking at a mirror too. When we see it in ourselves, we can just say, I'm just going to go forward with unconditional positive regard for myself and for you and for others and for the community and for all sorts of stuff. You look around and you go, what are people thinking? This is crazy. Unconditional positive regard and kindness. And it's just totally transformative. And you might think, well, is that it? That's it. It's love. It's love and transformation. Now, there is another piece of that story. If you read in John chapter 5, the man doesn't know who Jesus is. He gets up, he walks, he takes his mat. And just as a little bit in the end, if you go forward and read all this, it gets crazy after that because this was a Sabbath day. And now instead of going, wow, that was cool, people are going, you can't do that on the Sabbath. So it's another story, but kind of what's interesting is in the end, Jesus finds him later. And the man says, oh, you're the one that healed me. And he said, yeah, go and, he does say to him, go and don't do this sin anymore or worse will befall you. In other words, the way you were thinking was not serving you. You need to change your thinking. Sin meaning miss the mark. You're really missing it, man. Connect with this truth. I have given you this gift of this transformation. I have given you this gift of love. I have given you this gift of unconditional positive regard. Hold it for yourself. Hold that regard for yourself so that your life can be transformed. So you don't end up back on the side of that pool paralyzed because you don't feel like your life can go forward. We need to get beyond it. So it's not that just we get this kindness and this transformation. There still is this back end of and now we've got our life to do. We've got our thinking to change. We've got our journaling and our meditation, our transformation, in our discussions with each other so that we can continue to grow and transform. But it starts with kindness. It starts with love. It starts with unconditional positive regard for one another. So I was here for a month and then went home to move, as most of you know. We sold the house, we packed it up, and Diane and I came, and we were here last week. Was our first week. And we're moving, and Diane hurt her arm, and we ended up in the ER, and then we got flooded, and we had to move to a hotel for a couple weeks. Oh, we could have told some good stories about this. But you just go and look at Liz. Liz can relate to what I'm talking about. You just have to look at it and go, I can choose to go to story and choose to go to why is this happening to me? And indeed, things do happen, and they're crazy, and it's like you don't like some of them. True. It's true. And a lot of compassion and forgiveness. But can we just go to kindness for ourselves? Go to kindness for each other. Go to love for each other. Just give each other this unconditional positive regard. I went to that night after the ER, I go to Trader Joe's. And I walk in, and there's this young woman. And she says, oh, how's your day going? I said, well, it's my first day in Bellingham. Just moved in. And in the morning, we were dancing around the room, singing Kenny Loggins songs. And by the afternoon, I was in the ER. And we're just coming home, and we need to get some groceries because we've got none in the apartment. We just got here. And I was, I think she saw in my face the sort of what was going on for me. And so she checks me out. She goes, just a second. And she walks away, and she comes back, and she brought me a bouquet of flowers. This young woman, she brought a bouquet of flowers. And she hands this to me, And she says, tell your wife I'm sorry. Give these to her. I know she's in the car. But welcome to Bellingham. And, we're glad you're here. Unconditional positive regard. Beautiful. And I'm already have my ATM in this slot, and I'm getting money out. I was getting 60 cash back. And she gives me these flowers. I look up, and I hit $6,000 cash back. To which it said, you can't do that. And that was and I just had to pull my ATM out. I just walked away. I was just I was so moved by this simple act of kindness. And so I'm tearing up. She starts tearing up. These two guys standing behind us in line at Trader Joe's, they're like, we don't know what's happening, but we're on it. And there's this ripple. One simple act of kindness. She gave me a bouquet of flowers. Simple act of kindness had this effect. You could feel it, right down the line in the store. And as I moved, I looked up, and everybody in all the check stands were kind of standing there looking. It's like, what happened? Ripples out. This care and this concern and this simple acts of kindness, they ripple out. This unconditional positive regard for another human being. And starting with ourselves, please, it just ripples out. I'm going back to the story of Jesus at the pool, and you don't ever hear the end, but it said in this portico was all these people, blind, lame, and paralyzed. And he picked one and brought that healing. And I always wonder, what happened to all those others that were there too? In my imagination, I see not only did that one man pick up his mat, walk, but the guy next to him went wait a second. Maybe I can get up. Or wait a second, I'm starting to see things a little clearer. Or wait a second, maybe I can move. Maybe there's something else. Or wait a second, what just happened there? Maybe I can follow that and follow that path of transformation and see what's going on in there. We don't ever know the end of that story. But isn't it interesting to see if you could recreate it? What would have happened to everybody? I think of unconditional positive regard, and since we've been here, not only getting this bouquet of flowers from this stranger, but Deirdre last week shows up with a lace for Diane and I from Hawaii. We were so touched. The board and Janae, the basket of goodies they leave in my office. And by the way, Janae, these are going to end up in her office. Thank you. Gifts of kindness, and we give gifts of kindness right back. And I'm saying these are things like, gifts and flowers and stuff, but it's so simple to give the gift of kindness in a word, in looking at somebody in a different way, and looking at someone who you might want to look at maybe with an eye that's a little askance, but instead look at them like, I'm just going to bless you. I don't know what's going on. And I know, and sometimes I may be having a strong reaction to the other person as well. Stop. I'm just going to give unconditional positive regard. That's it. Kindness. And those things, those energies, those words, those looks, those feelings, that emanation we can do, it's a simple practice. And yet, I think we all know sometimes it's hard to get over the hump, right? Especially with ourselves sometimes. Now, why do I do that again? I'm so mad at myself. Give yourself unconditional positive regard. And then you ripple out. And then the community ripples out. And what I imagine is that Unity of Bellingham, we become this wave generator of ripples of kindness and regard, of love, into our greater community. And they go far. You've thrown a rock into the lake. It ripples, and it goes, and it goes, and it goes. So here's our calling. Let's be agents of that ripple, that agents of that kindness, agents of the love. And when it comes time to pick the fruit, put it in the basket, grab it. Grab it. It's kindness. It's love. It's transformative. And it's ours to do. So let's do that this week. And with that, we can have a great Thanksgiving, a Thanksgiving of kindness and love and sharing and regard. Okay? All right. Blessings.
thank you, Reverend Frank. It's, I think about this next week and all the busyness, and it's the ripples of kindness, of love. And then if I start it with me, that's really fun, and watch the ripple go out. And I think we can all do our little bit in that. And it just feels good to even think about. So hope you have a good week ahead. Now is our time for our offering. And if the ushers would come forward. This is where we get to, in our service, we get to practice the abundance that we are. We're always grateful for your generosity. Those of you who are at home, please go to unitybellingham.org and hit donate to share your gifts. We appreciate those. As you take your offering to your heart, affirm quietly to yourself, I give freely and joyfully, for God is my source, and I have abundance in all areas of my life. Now please join me in saying our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Thank you.
Oh, before she presses the button, I just wanted to acknowledge Kathy Murray, who could not be here today, but she did work with us on the songs that we've presented today and made a recording of them onto the Clavinova. So,
And
yes.
thank you, Diane Lay,
Yes,
for
and-
being here to press the button.
To press the button and to do the rest of the service.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready.
Join us as we set aside a day for celebrating in a special way. To count our blessings, count them by the score. The things we have to be thankful for. Let's sing a song of gratitude. Let's sing a song of happy days. Let's sing a thank you song to you. Let's sing a song of joy and praise. Say a thank you for the air we breathe, the rainy days and making shiny leaves. The sun a-beaming on the garden wall is saying, let's be thankful for one and all. Let's sing a song of gratitude. Let's sing a song of happy days. We'll sing a thank you song to you. We'll sing a song of joy and praise. Say thank you for the fields of rain. Say thank you for the falling rain. Say thank you for the chance to live in peace and harmony. Forests growing on the mountainside, mighty hills that nearly touch the sky, flowing rivers with their waters blue. For our home and country we are thankful to. Let's sing a song of gratitude. Let's sing a song of happy days. We'll sing a thank you song to you. We'll sing a song of joy and praise, of praise. Once a year we set aside a day for celebrating in a special way. To count our blessings, count them by the score. The things we have to be thankful for. Let's sing a song of gratitude. Let's sing a song of happy days. We'll sing a thank you song to you. We'll sing a song of joy and praise.
And so we bless these gifts. They support the mission and the ministries, Unity Spiritual Center of Bellingham, Unity Worldwide. And so they support this rippling effect of our community, that we may go out and bless the whole world. And so it is. I have a few announcements. You had to write them down. Okay, some things that are coming up. We had this theme for November, but we realized while there may be one more Sunday in November, it's actually Advent, if you can believe that. So we're celebrating Advent this year, and I know we've celebrated Advent in the past. Unity in Advent has a sort of a cadence of words and themes. Maybe it's a little bit different than Eastern and Western Christian traditionalism, but it's a really beautiful event. And how many of you actually have Advent wreaths at home or have enjoyed Advent wreaths or like Advent wreaths? Oh, just a few, huh? Are we familiar with Advent wreaths? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Well, this is going to be fun. What we wanted to do then, if you're interested, to be a little creative. Instead of us kind of creating one Advent wreath and having it here for all 4 weeks of Advent, Advent meaning sort of the Latin venio, meaning to come. It's to come, right? So it's the lead up and the preparation towards the Christmas time. And so an Advent wreath typically has 4 candles, one for each Sunday, the 4 Sundays that lead up to Christmas, and then in the middle there's a Christ candle that you light at the Christmas Eve service. So it's a beautiful event. We're going to kind of use it as the cadence for our talks through the next 5 weeks. And what we thought was, if anybody felt creative and wanted to, call the office and talk to Janae. If you want to design or create or make or share a family Advent wreath, then feel free to call us, and we'll use one of yours as part of our centerpiece. We'll have like a centerpiece here over the next 5 weeks, which part of it's going to be the Advent wreath. So if you're interested in that, in sharing an Advent wreath or an Advent wreath idea, then call Janae at the office, and we'll get some Advent wreaths, creative Advent wreaths showing. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's a chance to be creative. The second announcement is, where's Jonathan? Jonathan and I were talking that Jonathan and I, and we think our suspicion is a number of other people would like a chance to get together, maybe in the mornings, for a thing that we're going to call, at least for now, spiritual conversations. And not starting tomorrow, this Monday, but the Monday after Thanksgiving, we've reserved Monday mornings at 10, starting the 29th, for people who want to come together and just have a small group discussion. Initially, this discussion is going to be a lot about some of the themes that we had on the Sunday service, but we suspect, that this is going to open up to a lot more themes that we could talk about as the years go on, maybe things that are topical, that we just want to go, how do we think about this as a unity community, and what's the spiritual aspects of something I've read in the paper, or something going on in my family, or something that's going on in the greater world? Just a place to come together and chat. We'll probably host it right here in the chapel. And this will be not tomorrow, but starting next Monday, Mondays at 10, join us for spiritual conversations, okay? The final thing I want to say today is I'm giving a class. It's actually a 2-part class. I'm pretty excited about this. And it's going to be December 1st and 8th. Is that the right dates? The Wednesdays. Do I have my dates right? December 1st and December 8th, the first 2 Wednesdays of December, 6:30 to 8. And it's going to be about Christmas, but we're going to talk about Christmas in maybe some ways that we haven't, maybe new to you, or maybe revelatory, or maybe unfold some things that you might have known or might have thought about, and we're going to use a way that we study the Bible in unity, because you think, well, unity, we do metaphysics, right? And that's true. But there's also this other kind of component where we go back and we look at the very history, and we look at the stories, the Christmas stories, in context of what was going on in Palestine at the turn of the turn of the century there, at zero common era. What was going on? And then what did that mean in the stories, the way they told the stories? And then what does that have to do with us today, 2,000 years later? So we're going to go back and take a bit of a deep dive into why these stories were told the way they were told, and what really was the context. I'm going to give you a taste, okay? Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Savior of the world. We know those words, right? Those are all in the Christmas stories, right? Who are those? If you would have said those at the time of Jesus, who do you think they would have been talking about? Who? Does anyone know? Take a guess. Who are those words about? Caesar. They were about Augustus Caesar. And so to put those words in these stories and project them onto this birth of this child in humility, wow, what a contrast to what the language of the day in Palestine with the Roman imperial armies who were embedded in that culture. It's really interesting when you look at the words that we're just used to saying or reading in Christmas carols, and we just kind of go, oh yeah, well that makes sense. What they really meant at the time they were written was radical, confrontative, change agents, transformative for a new way of life that the people of the time could not even have imagined. And so if it meant that to them then, what does that mean for us now? So I invite you to come, and we're going to get into, I like, Muppets Christmas Carol and reindeers and all that too. I love that stuff. Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we can catch you up. It is sort of linear, but please come and jump in. And there's some homework. Ready? Gospel of Matthew, verse 1 and 2, chapters 1 and 2. Gospel of Luke, chapters 1 and 2, up to the point where they talk about John the Baptist. In the Gospel of John, it sort of almost starts with John the Baptist as it does in Mark. But Luke and Matthew, they add a couple extra chapters about this birth story. So that's the homework. Read those, and we're gonna really break them down and dig in and get the richness, and we're gonna have some fun. Actually, it's Christmas, so of course it's gonna be fun too. But it's transformative. So it's December 1 and December 8th, and we'll kind of go back and forth between Matthew and Luke, and we'll bring in both of them, and we'll really look at some of the good Christmas stuff. Not Rudolph, that's another time, and and we like that stuff too, but this will be really, really interesting. Okay, we'll hope to see you there. And Janae, we might even have a sign-up sheet next week, I think, just so we know who's coming, okay? Heads up.
Okay, it's your turn to sing again. There is on your sheet of song lyrics, one more song there. We'll give it a try. It's another new one for you, so 1, 2.
So please rise.
We come in thanks, grateful for all blessings for life, both great and small. We come in thanks for humankind, bringing us peace in heart and mind. Though we may doubt and though we may fall, we know that love holds blessings for us all. Us all. We come in thanks, lift us up high, spirit within, we can't deny. We come in thanks, love in our hearts, knowing from love, gratitude starts. We come in thanks, grateful for all blessings for life, both great and small. We come in thanks for humankind, bringing us peace in heart and mind.
Thank you.
As we come to the end of our service, let's say our prayer for protection, and we do include everyone, everywhere. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for being here today. We wish you a blessed week ahead of Thanksgiving and look forward to seeing you next week. Please join us. We're going to join together, and we're already standing, so that's good. And we're going to sing the peace song.
And if you want to hold your left hand up, right hand down, and rather than holding hands, you don't have to touch, but the energy can flow.
You can just step over so you can join them.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.